My daughter, she was born 24 weeks. She spent her first 5 months of life in hospital. She had numerous challenges. She came out of the hospital with a global development delay, among other health issues. She didn't walk until after she was 2 years old. But we weren't really concerned with her physical abilities. Her cognitive abilities, though, seemed very delayed from initially. And she tested, positive for severe needs because she also has a feeding tube. So her needs around behavioral and feeding qualified her for a severe diagnosis.
And so what we decided when we did get the funding is we really wanted to look at if we start to intervene early on, because we know early intervention is crucial in the development of social skills for students identified with autism. So we targeted JK to grade 2 students, but we felt if we identify them early on with a 3-year commitment, if we followed them through and we worked with the families, would we see changes long-term with socialization? And us being an inclusive board, we felt that identifying early on would really benefit not only our students identified with autism, but all of our other students as well. So what we do know is for our students to learn, they need to be at their optimum level of arousal. And so if we can really look at how they're regulating and we can keep them in that optimum level of learning, that's when we take in information. And for some of our students, it's very challenging with all the noise, with all the stimuli in the environment, their frustration through communication to stay in that optimum level. And so through these types of interventions, what we're hoping to do is give them the skill level to manage their behavior so that they do stay at that optimum level of arousal so that we know that they are in a good place to learn.
Some of the main goals within the program is increasing attention to task, increasing some cooperation skills, decreasing those hands-on behavior and replacing it with coping strategies. So a lot of the students that are in our self-regulation groups they're struggling outside at recess. So a lot of hands-on behaviors. They also struggle kind of sitting for the length of time needed to focus in class. And then we're working on teaching them strategies that they can use. So we've got to the point now that they've learned enough coping strategies that we basically set up centers for them to practice those. So they're discreetly practicing what to do in certain situations so that they have the skills they need when they're out on the playground or at circle time. So our hope is that when they learn some strategies to help regulate their behaviors, they're able to use these strategies throughout their day. So they know that they can take a deep breath when they're feeling a little agitated at circle time, or they know they can use some muscle relaxation techniques on the playground when they're struggling with a friend. We've taught them to ask for help, so they'll know when they need to go and find an adult and get the help that they need. Strategies. So one of the little guys today said, oh, if I was getting really angry, I would squeeze my hands together and then release. You taught me that. So it was nice to see that that he's taking that skill that we're learning and he's now identifying when he can use it. So now we're hoping that he can actually use it in those situations.
So many of our children have difficulty with expressive language and are nonverbal and are not able to tell us when they're feeling upset or angry or overwhelmed. So this path is an outlet for them to have that physical walk-in release, to let go of some of that stress, and then be able to return to class feeling calm, feeling more in control of themselves.
I am love. I never give up. Then now can I go back to classroom?
As a result of the sensory pathway, we definitely have seen an improvement in the kids. They come back to class and they are calm. You can see it in their body language. They are ready to answer questions, to participate. They are excited to get back into their learning, and it works well for everybody.
So essentially what we've been doing is we've been observing what Amanda has been doing with her work with the kids, taking those skills and translating it to a parent training program, giving them strategies that will link what they're learning with Amanda to ways that they can generalize that to the home. So there needs to be that connection between that environment and then home environment as well too. So making sure that we can help make that connection for parents has been really amazing. So what we're trying to do is give parents strategies, so games and activities that they can get the whole family, siblings, everybody involved in, that helps foster whatever skill that we're trying to increase. So right now we're focusing on social emotional development. So we're teaching them games and activities that they can do with their children at home or out in the community. Things that we might do to improve joint attention for an earlier learner would be like different types of songs and games that parents can do with their children when they're helping them get dressed in the morning, or different ways that they can change the way that they're reading stories at bedtime.
So what we see is a decrease in some of our behaviors that become apparent because they're frustrated because of an inability to communicate their wants or needs through play in that moment. The other nice part of all of this that we're seeing is that we're seeing the peers in their classroom understanding how to interact with them, how to communicate with them, and they're more likely to engage because we're not seeing maybe some of the other behaviors that we saw previously. What we're finding is it affects the whole classroom and prepares the classroom so that everybody can learn in a more regulated environment, and we generalize those skills that they're learning through the intervention back into the classroom. So even the teachers have a better understanding of where to meet these students, how to keep them in that optimal level of arousal so that they are ready to learn and they are available to learn and picking up those skills, whether it be through teaching time or whether it be through interaction with peers, group activities, those sorts of things.
And it was hugely successful. I mean, there were families that were coming in. We did it for 3 weeks. So by the second and third week coming in with just a different air about them. You could see that they were feeling successful, that they were finally for the first time feeling like they were connecting with their children on a level that they hadn't before. And they were very complimentary at the end and said that they felt that it would be something that they could use to help their children generalize the skills that they're learning at school to the home.
And we know she's learning. She has some exceptional abilities, and she's picking up, and she's picking up pretty quickly on the ones that she's behind on. So we're very happy here, the school board, the program. We're trying to convince other parents that we know that, hey, this is a great school and a great program for my daughter. Sure, we know that she might be behind in some areas, but she comes home, she's happy, she's energetic, she's thrilled to be here. And, you know, there's nothing that you could want more than a happy child.